started in the year 2000. I was at a friend's house and we were hanging out one day and he was tearing all the stuff out of his closet. And he actually pulled out a course that he bought on TV 23 years ago. Wow! And it was Ron the Grand, who was actually part of the mastermind as well, part of the family.
That's right.
And he had a course on make $3,000 in 30 days. I still have the VCR tapes right there. Oh my
gosh, that is
absolutely dating us, right?
For those who are not watching this actual live or the video, she just pulled up what do you call it?
VHS.
I see. I don't even know what it's called. It's been so long since I've even seen one of those things.
Those are outdated, probably right around the time, it
came out.
It came out, but for the old timers that had it, I was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
So what it was a cassette. It was a bunch of cassettes, 2 VCR tapes, and a book. So I did all the stuff, and a month later, I had my first deal under contract. I ended up wholesaling that deal, and I made $15,000.
That happened fast.
I know.
It was absolutely amazing. So for me, that was a life-changing thing.
Wow.
For one, the money was great, but the fact that I did it and the money really shut up all the naysayers who just thought, what are you doing now? You bought something or you borrowed it from your friend off some infomercial and you think you're going to really do real estate with no money. Because at the time I was dead broke, had no money, didn't even have credit at the time.
Oh my God.
So for me, this was right up my alley when I saw that. So I really jumped on the opportunity. And then after that, I got a job. I mean, I already had one, but I got a job working at a car dealership in the finance office. I meet this lovely young lady, for all of you who don't see. My wife, she was a teacher, and she already owned her own house. I already owned my own house. And when we started dating, she moved into mine, and she kind of almost turned into like an accidental landlord.
Awesome.
Like she didn't plan on buying her house to turn it into a rental, but now here we are. A few months after dating, I'm looking at a junker because this is in 2008, the end of 08, and the market's starting to turn. So we started finding some deals, which what we didn't know was we were burring back then when I didn't even know that was a term. So we started buying a house every year or so, being landlords, getting the phone calls, doing all the stuff, right? And then Jen walked away from teaching. We started having little ones of our own. And after we got married, and then I would say 2015, you got thrown right into the mix.
Mm-hmm. By then, I think we had like 5 or 6 rentals, and I was realizing pretty quickly I needed to be like the bookkeeper and the property manager and just orchestrating all of the behind the scenes because you did work like crazy, crazy hours. So that's when in 2016, we stumbled into the creative financing again, and just this whole world opened up with rent to own and being able to buy properties without having to go to the banks because we were getting close to our cutoff limit.
Well, and that's right, because we had a conversation with one of my friends who worked at the bank, and he says, after 10, the banks will most likely cut you off. Mm-hmm. We have something in-house called portfolio where we could get you more, but there's going to be a limit. And that's where we saw the writing on the wall that if one day we wanted to do this full time and use this as a retirement instrument, 10 wasn't going to cut it. Mm-hmm. So we realized we had to figure something else out. And that's when we've gotten into more coaching and learned about creative finance, which is just an umbrella of ways to buy and sell real estate without using banks, without using your credit, and a whole lot to almost sometimes no money down in some of these deals. And you're able to buy a lot more that way. And we saw that's the way to scale our business. We also stumbled upon no longer being landlords with having the rent to own model. And boy, was that life changing.
Yeah.
So we had the crazy summer of 2017 where all of our leases were up. We were converting all those properties that were single family homes from renters, putting in now tenant buyers. We had a bunch of those we did. And it was just wild. But we got it all done. We survived.
Pretty doggone amazing.